Benjamin Crump was a team. Rather than start and focus on the neck, you see, that's what tricksters do. They'll show you the left hand while their right hand's doing the trick, picking your pocket, you see. They had Mr. Floyd on the other side of the road. They walked him across the street, sat him down, you see, and they discussed their methods or whatever. If you'll notice, one of those officers is very light skinned, and the video will, when that officer helped George Floyd stand up, he torqued George Floyd's wrist. Already cuffed behind his back, that was unnecessary, but he torqued his wrist. He assaulted Mr. Floyd when he helped him stand up, and he continued to do so when Mr. Floyd, they said he tripped. Now that was a takedown because he had big long hands, and that officer torqued Mr. Floyd's wrist. It was a takedown. He literally took him down with the pressure, with wrist control. In MMA, that small joint manipulation is not allowed. However, there is a heavyweight fighter named Daniel Cormier who cheated on a weigh-in. He placed his hands on a towel. And that placing his hands on the towel was relatively approximately 5 pounds of pressure that was relieved just by placing his hands on that towel. So 5 pounds of pressure, okay? The officer that was on Mr. Floyd's neck had his hand in his pocket. Why did he have his hand in his pocket? He was pressing down that pressure. You see, if he only placed his hand in his pocket, the weight of his arm, okay, 10, 15, 20, whatever pounds, the pressure of his arm, and he was pressing down into his pocket, he was creating more pressure, okay? Start at the feet. And study at every point where they had their knees. And you'll see that they had their knees on points to create pressure on the carotid artery. The pressure on the chest, the pressure on the spine, he can't breathe, he didn't know what was happening because they were cutting off the pressure from the feet. You see, making it difficult for Mr. Floyd to breathe. One carotid artery was on the pavement. You see, he had his knee on the other carotid artery. It was not asphyxiation. You see, they stopped the blood flow to his brain. And the officer stood there, towel, he knew what was, you see, it was a team. So rather than focus on the person that was on the neck, it was a team effort. From the feet, ask them why they had their knees on the man's feet. You see, take photographs of where they have their knees and say, why did you have your knees on the feet? Was he kicking? No, he wasn't. You see, why did you have your knees in certain areas on his back? His hands cuffed behind his back. You see, it was pressure points. They chose pressure points. They've been doing this a long time. They're a team. And the assailant on his neck had worked with Mr. Floyd for a year. A tall man like that, for damn sure he knew who he was. The officer, they said he worked at some club 17 years as a security guard or whatever, after hour, on his off, whatever. And Mr. Floyd had worked there as a security guard for 1 year, so for damn sure. You see, the criminal had seen Mr. Floyd, knew who he was. For damn sure he did. If he worked at the same place a year, maybe they didn't work the same shift, but a tall person like that sticks out in the crowd. So you seen that person. He for damn sure knew who he was. Okay? So if you know who a person is, for damn sure it's wrong to do that to another person. Okay? For damn sure that's wrong. But if you know that person, you see, he knew the person. He knew who he was. He was familiar with Mr. Floyd. He knew exactly who he was. You see? So move that to one. Someday there will be peace in the valley for me. No trouble I see, there will be peace in the valley for